Hi guys, so I thought I would take a second to test out a mobile recording rig. It's got the new camera and it has a 24-bit audio recording little device here, and of course a microphone. I'd like to upgrade this to lavalier mics so that Daryl and I can do some more like on location stuff for you guys. 'Cause there's a lot of stuff we want to do around town. But I thought I'd take a quick second and just to kind of have an excuse to make a video and talk about Samick guitars. Now, I've always liked cheap guitars, and there are some brands that are better than others. And being a guy who has his own guitar repair business, I get to see guitars from every walk of life. Good, bad, horrendously awful, super expensive. Some of the expensive ones kind of make me a little nervous to work on, but I do anyway because it's fun. It's always a learning process. But Samick guitars actually started back in 1958 in South Korea. Now think about that. 1958, that's not too long after the electric guitar actually started to get going. Within a decade, really, of the first electric guitars being made, which is pretty awesome. So, Samick has obviously some experience in building guitars. Not only that, what's cool, they built guitars for almost every guitar manufacturer under the sun. The big manufacturers like Epiphone and Squire even, and, some of the Fender's lower end stuff, and Ibanez, some of their stuff. And a lot of these brands were built by Samick and Samick luthiers in the Samick factory in South Korea. That is pretty awesome, and probably the reason why even cheaper Samick guitars are still pretty decent quality. I just picked up a 29-fret Samick Artist Series guitar, and it was made in Korea, and it is actually built pretty well. I'm continually impressed by random older Samick instruments. Now, I can't speak to their quality nowadays, but you can find old Samicks in pawn shops everywhere for really, really good prices. For instance, I found a early 90s Samick SG, which was built better, in my opinion, than the Epiphone SGs and things at the time, and the headstock was actually a little bit thicker where they normally break, and I think Samick kind of did that on purpose. So in the 90s, Greg Bennett, an American luthier, actually was put in charge of a lot of the processes at Samick. This was right before they moved their factory to Indonesia, which I think was 92, but the early 90s. Greg Bennett came out with his own line of guitars, and they featured better pickups, usually Seymour Duncan designed, things like Grover tuners, even Wilkinson trims and things like that, just really good products. And it kind of gave Samick the push they needed to get back into guitar stores under their own brand. And the phone's ringing. Yay for phone calls. But so Samick kind of had their resurgence, and if you can find a Greg Bennett series guitar, you kind of automatically know it's going to be a decent guitar because he used, African woods in some of his guitars, some exotic woods. He used mahogany, of course, but he just had a better standard for instruments. So you can usually find Greg Bennett series Samicks pretty cheap, and they're worth it. I would get one. So if you're on the fence about buying a Samick guitar, just remember there's a ton of experience there and a ton of ingenuity as well. And you can find some interesting axes such as the Samick Cobra or the 29-fret Artist Series I just picked up. But there's a ton of options there in Samick. So if you guys like this and you like to learn about sort of cheaper guitars and things like that, there's several other brands I can talk about. And it'd be kind of cool to do a series like that. I'll put some pictures while I'm talking too, so you can kind of get a better handle on what I'm talking about. But thanks, everybody. Don't forget, we're going to be in Birmingham on May 14th and 15th, Alabama, that is. Come out and see us. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.